Africa, are you ready? Is Africa ready, for the climate challenges ahead? Yeah, many of us believe that when we find ourselves in the center of climate events, we will be warned in advance and have time to prepare. Even more people think that natural disasters will bypass them and then everything bad will happen somewhere else. That's just how people perceive the world. But the reality is much harsher. Climate disasters occur suddenly and catch us at the most inconvenient times when we are entirely unprepared. Often authorities either don't acknowledge the threat or act too late. Warning systems either don't work or are deliberately turned off to avoid panic. Evacuations are rarely planned in advance because there are never enough resources for them. The event of 2023 and 2024 vividly demonstrated that no country, not even the most developed ones, is prepared for large-scale climate disasters. Local calamities, whether fires, floods, or droughts, paralyze entire regions, and governments often find themselves unable to respond effectively to nature's challenges. So now, I want to ask Mr. Kanu, what are the main climate issues threatening African countries in the next decade?
Justin, I just like the introduction you made clearly out to us. And, I like it when you say that these climate crises or calamities or catastrophes, whatever we like to call them, whenever they happen, they always, to catch us unawares. If you allow me to digress a little, we are witnessing the hurricane Milton that is happening in the United States, and if people are not prepared for it, and that is a developed nation. How much more when you come to countries that politically we refer to as developing countries, Africa, most of the countries in Africa. But anyway, back to the question you asked. I would like to take us through the main climate issues actually that are threatening African countries. Of course, we are looking at next decade, but then that is being futuristic. Well, it would be good to look at next decade because it might help us to start preparing. But then I must draw the attention of our listeners that you see there is even a greater danger that is staring us at the face. These climate crises are about to intensify, and the scientists and concerned citizens of the world have also warned that if nothing serious is done, even talking about the next 10 years, I don't know whether we'll be able to witness those next 10 years because of the type of destruction that we may witness in the world. But we are hoping that we'll be able to, our scientists will be able to work on solutions that have been planned for this, and then we might be able to save the earth and save our lives. But then, when the reality is still staring us at the face, we could go ahead and discuss some of the threats that Africa might face, just not in the next decade, but in so short a time than we all are, might be expecting. Let me take it one after the other. One of the crises that we foresee, or that scientists are predicting, is that there might be intensified droughts and water shortages. There is also the danger that desertification is also going to increase. That means there's going to be more land degradation. And then we are going to witness rising sea levels, and then the coastal zones are going to, face more destruction than we know. Of course, there's bound to be rising temperatures, and what comes with it, extreme weather events. If I can take this now, let me talk a little bit about them. Starting with that, there's going to be intensified droughts and, of course, water shortages. Wherever there is drought, there's bound to be water shortages. If you look at the countries, especially East African countries, specifically if we are looking at Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, they have suffered, in this year, have suffered one of the worst humanitarian crises as a result of bad weather conditions. And we have also witnessed that as a result of this event drought that is faced some of these countries, particularly Ethiopia, Somalia, about 20 million people are bound to suffer food crisis as well as water shortages. Of course, drought does not spare crops, destroy crops, and then there will be mass deaths of livestock, And when you look at also Chad coming around to Nigeria, Chad and Niger, which are our neighbors, they are also, we are witnessing the result of this bad, whether the drought, there are migrations from rural areas to big cities. What the United Nations Development Program had been able to come up with is that about 10 million people are facing threats of famine. And such crisis, of course, they will intensify in the coming days, not just the next decade, as we are saying. So this is a very strong warning for Africa, especially when it comes to droughts and very terrible water shortages that we are going to experience. When talking about desertification and land degradation, according to the definitions, about 65% of African arable land is already degraded. And then, this is quite more than enough danger for us. And then we're looking at rising sea levels. Coastal cities like Nigeria, which I could talk about, coastal cities like Mombasa, that is in Kenya, and even Cairo, that's in Egypt. The rising sea level is, of course, pushing on the human population. Lagos is not a very big land, it doesn't have a big land mass. And then with this we are talking about 2050. I'm saying these are things that, in the next few years, we are seeing them happen. So, but of course, since we are just talking futuristic, the World Bank is estimating that by 2050, that up to 86 million Africans, of course, become refugees due to flooding and